Hello everyone, Steven here. Thank you for joining me today. Today we are going to discuss how to cut and mount your SPS coral frag. Before we start, if you enjoy my content and wish to see more reef aquarium related discussions, please help support me by liking and sharing this video and also by subscribing to the channel. I would also love to hear from you, so please feel free to comment and post your questions below. So today I'm going to show you how to cut and mount a frag onto a frag plug. So first thing we need to do is identifying which one of the branches from your mother colony that you will be cutting. So today I have identified that one of my coral colonies here, this guy here, is looking a little bit, one of the branches is creeping towards the wall. So I'm just gonna point towards it right here on this branch. And if you look at it, this is where the wall is, where my pointer is touching. So it's actually less than 2 inches of room. So normally it's not a big deal yet for the coral itself. However, what it does is that it adds difficulty for my maintenance. When I go in there, if I need to go down there and move anything, or if I need to clean the glass in this area, and for some reason I need to stick my hand in, it's going to either hurt the coral or it's going to hurt the coral. Is going to hurt my hand. So today what I'm going to do is I'll cut this branch. There's another branch here that is also creeping dangerously close to this coral, to this guy here. So I might also take care of that while I have my snipper with me today. First of all, you are going to need a bone cutter. Don't just use like a scissors, or I know some people probably use like a plier or something. Those tools are kind of barbaric. And if you don't have a clean cut to the coral, they actually can get infections. So what you want to do is you want to cut as much of this tip as possible to give it the best chance of survival and establishment on a new coral frag. I know that commercially a lot of the professional breeders and growers will only cut like half an inch to 1/3 or 2/3 of an inch. To me, that is just that's just really mean. Like it's first of all, like it aesthetically it's not pretty for anyone who wants to buy it, and also it's gonna take a lot longer for that coral frag to establish on the frag plug. The smaller the coral is, the harder it is to establish. So personally, when I buy frags, I like to buy frag that either has already spread onto the frag plug or as long of a frag stand as possible. So today, I think I'm gonna cut about an inch, inch and a half to the base here. And on this end, I'll probably cut about an inch and a half. So a couple of things to notice is that, like I said earlier, you want to cut this as cleanly as possible. So right now I am going to go in there and I will reach for where I want to cut, right there. And what I'll do is I'll actually try to hold the coral frag so it does not fall. There's my cut. So that's part one of the job done. I'm actually just gonna drop it onto the sand bed here for it to rest for a second while I take care of the outer frag here. So the outer frag here is a little tricky spot. I'm gonna reach behind and I'll snip from the back angle here. Here we go. And again, I'm gonna leave it on the tank sand bed for a second here. I'm going to switch off to a different camera so that you can look at my workstation and move on to the next step. Alright, now I have my workstations here set up to mount the coral. First of all, it is completely okay to have the coral out of the water for a short while. Coral naturally, actually a lot of the SPS coral gets exposed completely to the air during low tide. So, they're used to this kind of procedure where they're being exposed to the air. The one thing that I will have to say is that when you cut the corals, you always want to make sure, if you look at the direction of the coral, you want to fix it and smooth it out perpendicularly. And the reason why you want to do that is because when you mount it onto a frag plug, you want to make sure it stands and not like wobbly all over the place. But before we do that, I'm going to show you that I usually use the Instacure Icy Gel Coral Frag Glue. It's a little thicker glue, and I think it cures a little bit faster than most of the other glues. I have really good experience using this, so I highly recommend it. I'm going to use one of these tubes that is unfinished. So I probably will squeeze about that much onto this 1-inch plug. And I'll do the same here. Let me just squeeze from the bottom. It's a good habit to squeeze from the bottom. And very importantly, once you're done squeezing, make sure you always clean and give the tip a little bit of wipe so that the glue does not dry and stick to your cap. It's actually gonna take a few minutes for this glue to cure. So in the meantime, what I'll do then, you gotta kind of time it right. So you want to squeeze the glue onto the frag plug. Actually wait until it is like almost semi-cured before you mount the frag onto it so that it actually stands very well. Alright, so now we are going to trim this piece of coral a little bit. So let me move this to the side and I'll show you what I was talking about. So we'll make sure that the end is relatively smooth and straight. See how I kind of cut it smooth here and flat so it stands well. And then I'll do the same for this one. Make sure the end is perpendicular to the linear direction of the coral growth. And whatever excess, is basically sand, I'll toss it back into the tank. Alright, now it's very important. You have to make sure you find a steady, stable, and level surface so that your coral stands well. I am going to insert this coral and this one here. Oh, pat my own back. Looks like I did a good job smoothing them out. So now I'll let them stand for a couple minutes for the glue to cure before I stick them back into the tank onto my frag plug. So that's it, pretty much. You just want to make sure you take good care of yourself. Don't get yourself cut. Safety first, and pick the best branch, and also to smooth out the branch once you cut it. Make sure you have a good grip of the branch before you cut it, because a lot of time if the bone is very tough, the coral frag that you cut up actually will fly away or pop off, and then can fall to somewhere in the tank that's really hard to reach. So that's a lesson I learned the hard way. And then lastly, time yourself right. You're gonna always want to squeeze the glue onto the frag plug first. Let it kind of semi-cure before you stick the coral frag in so that it kind of sticks. And once again, these are SPS. They're totally fine being exposed to the air, because in nature they do that every day during the low tide anyways. But it's going to be a slightly different protocol if you are mounting LPS or soft corals, obviously. So that is going to be a different episode. But today, that is it. So leave me any comments if you have any other different experiences on how to cut or mount corals, any other tips and pro tips or best practices. Let us know. Happy to hear from you. Bye.